Tonight, a Belgian Gardens man returns from the shops to find his home gutted by fire.
Beaten and bitten, an alleged violent home invasion leaves a victim seriously hurt.
A major breakthrough, 3 people charged over the alleged murder of a man found dead in a wood chipper.
Funding fears for a program keeping youths on the straight and narrow.
And preparations begin for the Burdekin's newest iconic festival.
This is 9 News North Queensland.
Good evening. Police say they've broken a trio's alleged bond of lies and treachery, attempting to cover up a Nambour man's murder after his body was put through a wood chipper.
2 men and a woman are now facing murder charges, accused of ambushing the victim on a remote property and trying to make his death look like an unfortunate accident.
An early wake-up call from detectives. 59-year-old Gregory Lee Roser is marched into the watch house, soon followed by 61-year-old Peter John Koenig and 57-year-old Sharon Graham.
Will you be defending these allegations?
Graham is the ex-partner of Bruce Saunders, who all 3 are accused of killing.
They are all associates, and we will be alleging that it wasn't an accident and that they did conspire together to commit this offence.
In November, on a rural Gomborian property just outside of Gympie, police made the horrific discovery.
Police attended the scene and established that at about 7:40 p.m. that night, the deceased, Mr Bruce Saunders, had fallen in accidentally to the wood chipper. The injuries sustained were horrific.
But in the days following came new information sparking a homicide investigation. SES workers scoured the property while forensic police examined evidence and detectives looked into allegations Graham had become the sole beneficiary of Mr Saunders' will.
After many months of very professional, painstaking and thorough work, it's culminated today.
Lawyers for Roser and Koenig told Maroochydore Magistrates Court this morning the pair will fight the charges. The trio will stay behind bars until the case returns to court in August.
Police have thanked the family of Bruce Saunders for their cooperation during this lengthy investigation, but it's not over yet.
It doesn't stop here. The work will continue until a brief of evidence is compiled.
While the former butcher's family still comes to terms with their loss. Sophie Ryan, 9 News.
A Belgian Gardens man has returned from a trip to the shops to find his family home engulfed by flames. Firefighters rushed to get the fire under control, but they couldn't save the majority of the 2-storey house. The cause of the blaze is still unknown.
A mild morning broken by screaming fire engines and the roar of flames.
Just as we were coming down the road, we just seen a ball of smoke go up, and so we tried to chuck a Yui as quick as we can. See if we could help in any way.
Police could only look on as the fire licked the side of the 2-storey home. Quick-thinking neighbour Charlotte Brine knew the family's dog Buddy would be trapped out the back. She ran in to save him.
One of the police officers was holding him around the back, so I took him off him and put him in our yard.
But the confronting sight of a childhood haunt gutted by fire, too much to take in.
Pretty terrifying. Spent a lot of time at that house when I was a kid.
What's even more heartbreaking is that the owner had just left to go to the shops. Those 15 minutes were all it took for the house to go up in flames.
There were hugs and tears once he arrived back to what was once home. Devastated but thankful no one, including his 2 school-aged children, were hurt.
Girls are at school, so they'll come home to nothing.
An investigation into what sparked the blaze is now underway.
One concern is we did not hear any smoke alarms active when we arrived. That we're still unsure as to whether there were any in the house or not at this stage.
Josh Bristow, 9 News.
2 teenagers have been charged for their alleged involvement in a violent home invasion. Terrified residents confronted the pair when they broke into the Deerigan home.
Battered and shaken, Holly Lavender allegedly bitten and beaten with a tree branch outside her home in the early hours of this morning.
And I was screaming out to Alana, someone's in the house, someone's in the house.
Elizabeth Lambert woken by the screams.
I just froze. Very scary indeed.
A teenage boy allegedly breaking into a caravan at the Palm Drive property around 3:30 this morning. 21-year-old Holly was inside the home when she came out to confront the boy before more teens allegedly attacked.
Next thing I know, someone hit me across the head with a stick.
A 38-year-old man was also injured and taken to Townsville Hospital. A 16-year-old boy and 17-year-old girl have been charged over the incident, but police say it wasn't a targeted attack.
Although one of the offenders was known to the occupants, we don't believe it was a targeted offence and more an opportunistic one.
Investigations are continuing, with police still hunting for a third person, but residents say they're fed up with feeling unsafe.
The fact is you shouldn't have to get that in your own home.
Police now urging people not to confront offenders.
Leave it to the police to apprehend people. It certainly places them in significant danger of being assaulted, as is the case in this matter.
Hannah Kotaidis, 9 News.
A program for at-risk young people is set to lose vital financial support after 2 years of federal funding expired. The cafe at the Thuringowa Library is run by people enrolled in the statewide Project Booyah program, helping troubled teens. The Queensland Government says it will continue to fund the initiative.
The effectiveness of the program, whilst it still will be a success, won't be as effective as it could be with that federal funding.
More than 60 locals have been part of the project since it launched in 2016.
Two popular Burdekin events will combine this week to create what's hoped will become an iconic tourist attraction. The Sweet Days Hot Nights Festival celebrates the first cane fire of the season and the Australian Hand Cane Cutting Championships.
The pictures don't do it justice. The first fire of the season, a sight to behold. Locals flocking like moths to a flame.
You can feel the actual heat from the fire and witness it up close. It's safe.
Tomorrow night, it's happening again. Local legend Doug Chappell lovingly tending this field at Home Hill Showgrounds, especially for the occasion.
I love doing it because it's something for that town, and something we need,
Then on Sunday, the Australian Hand Cane Cutting Championships will round out the first Sweet Days Hot Nights Festival. Locals limbering up for what's both a physical and mental challenge.
It's so much more about technique because there's blokes here that are like nudging 80 years old that like go faster than me.
Their swing just sort of follows right through and it's just one motion that, and the young guys who come in doing it, they're sort of going out like a bat out of hell trying to, get it down.
But it's all about more than just cane.
We'll be having boomerangs throwing, spear throwing, fire making, and also we've got our turtle hospital.
It all begins at 5:30 tomorrow night.
The Burdekin was lacking that iconic destination event that would attract tourists to the region.
Philip Calder, 9 News.
Let's take a look at the average price of fuel in Townsville. It's $1.54.9 per litre. The fair price, $1.52.3.
Police have smashed a large-scale ice trafficking syndicate wide open, taking the dangerous drug off Queensland streets. The numbers are huge. 100 people arrested, hundreds more charges laid.
At the crack of dawn, a rude awakening as police pierce the early morning calm.
Winter is almost here and we're already starting to feel cooler temperatures. Nicole, where will it be coldest tomorrow?
Well, Sam, temperatures are dipping below average right across coastal Queensland tomorrow, with the coolest minimums around the Darling Downs, where it's expected to almost reach freezing tonight. It'll get even colder by Friday, with minimums in the single digits from the Mackay coast right down to the New South Wales border. But before then, we'll see showers and possible storms in the state's south, thanks to a combined trough and cold front. A few showers also possible for the top ends northeast. More soon.
Thank you for that, Nicole. Next, the Cape Crusader who fell on the wrong side of the law. He reveals to 9 News why he came to blows.
The ultimate thank you for the Spider-Man who saved a child's life.
And buying smart, how to protect yourself from dodgy products.
Well, no mix-up here. Paul Murphy has sport now. Murph, Billy Slater's preparing for an Origin swan song.
He sure is, Sam, and it could spell disaster for the Blues. Also coming up, as Billy bows out, another Maroon is throwing an Origin lifeline. Plus, it ain't the Gabba. Where will David Warner and Cameron Bancroft relaunch their cricket careers? Why the Horner refuses to be stung by barbs from his title challenger. And we meet the tennis version of the Griswolds. What a story.
For all the breaking news, download the free 9 News app.
The Maroons have been given extra motivation to win this year's Origin series, with Billy Slater announcing his retirement from rep football. But before he calls it quits, the man regarded as Queensland's greatest ever fullback has some unfinished business.
The former track work jockey from Innisfail, who's kept us captivated for 15 years, is ready to ride off into the sunset.
The Cowboys are confident they can get a downgrade on Matt Scott's shoulder charge suspension at the NRL judiciary tonight. Coach Paul Green has named the snubbed State of Origin prop for Thursday's match against Manly and recalled fullback Lachlan Coote.
You can't knock the Cowboys' confidence.
I think we've got a good case. We wouldn't be fighting it if we didn't.
They'll know later tonight if co-captain Matt Scott can get off scot-free from this alleged shoulder charge and board the plane for Sydney. Queensland coach Kevin Walters dropped him, but Paul Green has no hesitation in naming the front rower to start against Manly. If he plays, Walters will be watching.
We expect and we hope to get him back for games 2 and game 3 if he can get himself back playing 100%.
New South Wales coach Brad Fittler's also a fan of Matt missing Origin.
I would have picked Matt Scott. I made some decisions around basically Matt Scott being there, so that's how important I thought Matt Scott was.
Cowboys custodian Lachlan Coote has been recalled from the Intrust Super Cup to play fullback. It's up to him how long it lasts.
We need to win games, and to do that you need to pick your form players. So he's got another opportunity. So as you said, the ball's in his court.
Ethan Lowe also returns in the back row, while 19-year-old centre Inari Tuala has earned his first career start. A decision on the injured Scott Bolton will be made on Thursday. Josh Bristow, 9 News.
Townsville Blackhawks coach Christian Wolfe insists his men must improve their defence after they let in 2 soft tries in their 12-8 Intrust Super Cup loss to the Hunters in PNG.
I thought they were both a little bit poor on our behalf in terms of how we defended both those opportunities, but that and just a little bit of not being as smart as what we could be with the ball.
The result has dropped the Blackhawks to 3rd on the ladder. They'll play the 13th placed Central Queensland Capras on Saturday, a side which features former Maroons State of Origin player Dave Taylor. The match will be live and free on 9 from 1 p.m. The Northern Beaches Suns will use their bye this weekend to regroup after coming off a convincing loss to Uni Hawks in the Townsville AFL competition. Senior coach Brad McLaren urging his young players to stick with the club as it looks to build towards the future.
The Northern Beaches Suns may have been at home, but they weren't hosed. Their opponents taking the lead early, racking up 4 majors in the first term.
I thought we started really slow, didn't really get our hands on the football and coughed it over too much.
The coach citing a young side with a lack of experience as having let them down, but there were positive patches for the men in red and blue. But the University Hawks only dug deeper to capitalise on their hosts' mistakes.
The message for the game was relentless pursuit of the footy, and I think we did that well in the first half.
By half-time, the scoreboard was skewed 75-35 the Hawks' way, prompting a stern message from the home coach.
They got a little bit of a spray at half-time for just the way they were going about it. So I think the question we asked at half-time was who wants to play for the jumper and who doesn't.
And while the Suns managed to save a little face, it was the Hawks 87-43 at full time.
We're about 20 men down at the moment out of our senior team, so getting a tough win like that today is really important going forward.
Northern Beaches hoping to use the bye to reset for the rest of the season.
At different times we seem to be improving, playing the way we want to try and play, and then we'll have a bad patch. Unfortunately, at the moment there's too many bad patches.
Philip Calder, 9 News.
In rugby union, Teachers West are bracing for a tough representative season, with 11 of their first grade squad heading into North Queensland camp for this weekend's state championships. The full-strength Teachers side cruising to their 9th straight win of the season over Burdekin.
It's going to be a tough period coming up because we've got a lot of rep players out. So that's really going to test our depth, and it'll be interesting coming up against a couple of top 3 sides when we got those players out.
North Queensland host South Queensland on Saturday night at Mike Carney Toyota Park. And that is a wrap of sport for tonight. Coming up next, Nicole Rowles will join us and she'll take a look at all of your local weather details.
Good evening. A bit of breeze got up along the coast today, so it started to feel a bit cooler. Even though temperatures have stayed pleasant, it got to a top of 28 in Townsville, and we had very light spots of rain along the north coast. Now, tomorrow an upper trough and cold front will move east across Queensland with showers and storms possible south of about Bundaberg, more likely away from the coast. It will be mostly fine across the rest of the state, thanks to this high in the bight with cooler air expected in the wake of that inland trough in the coming days, expected to push down temperatures. Now, onshore winds from that same high could deliver some light showers to the top end's northeast coast, but it will be sunny elsewhere. Looking around the country, a few showers in Sydney with a top of 18 degrees. A bit of morning fog on the way for Canberra with 14 at the top there. A few showers in Melbourne reaching a chilly 15, and only slightly warmer in Adelaide, partly cloudy with a top of 16 degrees. Now, temperatures are dropping overnight in Brisbane, getting down to 12 degrees, but a pretty pleasant day on the way tomorrow, 26 the top with a few morning showers. Now, let's head back home and take a look across our region. We could see a few light showers in the morning across the coastline, but it will be a very beautiful sunny day with temperatures nice and warm. The warmest day of the week, reaching a top of 29 in Townsville, 28 for Ayr and Charters Towers, and getting a little bit cooler in the far north and south. Now, boat easy if you're heading offshore. Winds will get to 20 knots, easing through the day with seas to 1.5 metres. Our high tides around 9 in the morning and just before 10 at night. Taking a closer look at Townsville tomorrow, a sunny top of 29 degrees. Getting a bit cooler towards the end of the week, though, temperatures dipping below average on Friday and into the weekend. Tops of 26 degrees. Our coolest morning temperature on Saturday, getting down to just 12. Now, having a look at the Burdekin, very chilly overnight tonight, getting down below average with 14 degrees, but a pleasant top of 28 and sunny through the day. Now, looking ahead, we'll see temperatures dipping into the single digits on Friday and Saturday, just 9 degrees, with temperatures dipping down through the day as well, staying at just 26 degrees on Friday and right through the weekend, but they should start to return closer to average early next week. That's the weather.
Thanks, Nicole.
Checking finance now. The share market has closed higher. The All Ords up 8 points, and one Aussie dollar is buying 75.37 US cents.
If you struggle to walk in high heels, then have some sympathy for these women. They're trying to do it more than 1,200 metres up on a slackline. 3 of them gave it a go, attempting to cross the 70-metre long line suspended across a forest in China. The winner managed it in a very impressive 9 minutes and 24 seconds. And Paul? Ginger Rogers could have done it backwards.
Well, why? But why?
I don't know, because they can. It's wonderful.
Because they can.
That's 9 News for this Tuesday. Thanks for joining us.
From all the team, good night.
Good night.